Labels. Oh my god. I hate this palette. I hate this palette. I'm done. I'm so done. Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm at a different area because we are going to be doing some more depotting. I'll link my most recent depotting video down below. I'll link my playlist for like depotting down below if you're interested, but today we're gonna depot some JEFFREE Star palettes. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I am no longer supporting a JEFFREE Star. I want to advertise his products as little as possible on my channel. So we're gonna depot some of his stuff today. So I have this Adept Extra Large palette. I got this from Amazon. I'll link it down below. This is the purple shade, I think. I've done one palette. I've done the Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette so far just to see kind of how difficult it would be. But this I don't think is going to be large enough to hold all of the palettes I have. So I have an extra one. I wanted to kind of keep them the same color, but I already have this one. This is a black one. I was going to use this one, I think, for like Ofra, but I'm still debating if I want to depot the Ofra or not. So I may end up switching it around. I don't know. But for right now, I've got this. I think I'm going to do the face palettes and anything else that needs to fit in here in this. But we're gonna get started on the JEFFREE Star depotting. So I've got a stack of palettes here and we are going to start, I think, with these two because these I'm pretty sure just gonna be the easiest based on what I've already depotted. There's the Blue Blood and then Blood Sugar. I have to make labels and I'm going to walk you guys through how to depot these, which is basically what I learned while depotting Conspiracy, and then the rest of them we're going to do it together. So I will link all of the palettes that I'm depotting down below. I'll link this depotter and the Adept Cosmetics palettes. I'm putting everything in down below as well. I take that back. I will not link to the JEFFREE Star palettes because I'm no longer linking his products. In all of my other depotting videos, I will link to what I'm linking down below, but I'm no longer linking to JEFFREE Star products. But in the description box will be links to the Adept palettes and the Z Potter. So we are going to go ahead and jump into these. I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer. Yeah, and so let's jump into this. I feel like I'm partially all over the place today and I'm not loving it. I cannot figure out what my plan is. All right, now that we have something to go with at least. So we're gonna start with Blue Blood and Blood Sugar. For these, I'm gonna do it the same way I did Conspiracy. So like this is the Blue Blood palette and my sister actually helped me depot Conspiracy. And we figured out the easiest way to do it was to cut out the base. So this is just a regular box cutter. And if you go around the sides, it loosens it all up. Then hypothetically speaking, you can pull it out of the outer packaging. So now you're just left with this. And then we were able to pull all of this excess off, literally just left with this. Now some of these, as you can see, are already kind of starting to pop up a little bit. I'm going to put this on the Z Potter and we are going to see if we can melt the glue. And with this, you have to work in sections because with the Z Potter, you're only able to work with this large of a surface space. So you do have to work in sections. So I'm gonna get some wax paper down and start melting some of that off. And then at the same time, I'm going to start making some labels for these shadows. So if you like these videos, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And also please make sure you hit that big red subscribe button if you'd like to see more of me or more of my depotting adventures. And let's go ahead and get this sucker depotted. I did these first two rows. Oh my goodness, that is so hot. Once you've kind of melted the glue off, the pans should lift right out. And you can kind of bend this because this will be a little bit more pliable now, which is really nice. Oh my goodness, this is so hot. I feel like I should definitely be wearing gloves for this, and yet here we are. Okay, so there are the first three. Let's see if we can get these out. Blue Blood is the one that was like kind of stuck in there. Ooh, the most. So these pans were not directly on the heat, but it's still letting me pull them out because I was able to tear the palette so much, which is a huge time saver. Then I'm gonna put on the other half of the palette onto the Z Potter. And I'm going to put labels on all of these and get them into my larger Adept Cosmetics palette. So now I've got the other half of the palette and I'm going to bend, and we are going to try to pry those out. Trying to keep them in order so that I know which shades are which color. Okay, so this is what the actual palette looks like now that we've removed everything. Oh, I need that for reference though. I'm gonna put the stickers on, put them in the new palette, and then we will be done. And once again, you can take off the extra like glue and stuff left over on the back. I personally don't care enough to do that, but you do have the option if that's something that you want to do. Okay, so there is the finished little palette. This is what I'm left with. This and then the shell of the Blue Blood. Yeah, so we're gonna move on to Blood Sugar now. Blood Sugar comes in a box like this. This is what the palette itself looks like. I will say it is a beautiful palette. This kind of breaks my heart, but it is what it is. This is what we're doing. So I'm gonna use the same method for this one. I'm just gonna try to cut it out. So this is what the inside of Blue Blood looks like once you take out the palette. This one came out just perfectly by itself, so I don't have to do any extra work to it. I'm just gonna close this up. I'm gonna start making my labels while I get some of this melting on the Z-Potter. So we're gonna start with the first half, and I'm gonna do this just like I did, oh my gosh, that's hot. Just like I did Blue Blood, except that is dirty now. So I'm gonna get a new little tool thing. Okay, so we've finished the two main palettes now. You've got Shane Dawson and Conspiracy, you've got Blood Sugar, you've got Blue Blood. I don't love the way this looks, and I definitely was really sloppy. I hate my handwriting on the labels, but I'm at such a weird angle. I think for the next one I'm gonna have to do the labels elsewhere because this is just too weird of an angle for me to write at. I don't love the fact that there's a bunch of open space over here, but whatever, it works. My main goal, and no, I didn't take off, like, I didn't use any of the alcohol stuff to take off any of the, like, leftover cardboard labels, just because, or, like, the cardboard pieces that were, like, still stuck to the pans, just because I don't care enough. I just want them out of the packaging. That's my end goal here. So, we've got that done. Now, this is what I have left of Blood Sugar. Now we are going to take a look at Alien. This is the last Jeffree Star palette that I have. This one I've heard is much more difficult to depot, but I'd like it to go in the same thing right here. So it's the same number of pans, so I'm just going to switch up the layout of this, and I think I'm going to do the labels elsewhere too. So I have not tried to depot this one. I'm not 100% sure what the best course of action is going to be. So I think, first of all, we're going to move that over so that doesn't get injured. We're going to take our Alien, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is to just cut off the top here, because that at least gives us just this piece to work with. I'm also wondering if I can cut off like the pink portion. So I am kind of able to pull that off like so. Okay, so now this part's gone, and now all I'm left with is this, which is the pans, and then in the back you have the actual pans. So we have to get the pans out from underneath here. So we're gonna put this on my Z-Potter, and let it sit for a few minutes. I'm going to go make the labels. I'm probably gonna do that off screen just so they can be a little bit neater so that I have a chance of reading them in the future, but let's go. I just pulled this off the Z-Potter. The Z-Potter is still like cooling down. It's incredibly hot, but it is starting to, oh. Would you look at that? Okay, that makes it a little bit easier too. Try to bend a little bit maybe. Ooh. Well, we got the green out, easy peasy. There we go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but the plastic around the pans is melting down, which is giving me enough of a gap in some of them to kind of just like pry them out. In some of them though, not in all of them. Okay, so the glue has definitely completely melted. I don't even know if that is glue or if that's like a magnet or something because they are just popping right out for me. But if you're going to depot Alien, you definitely need heat source. And based on how these are coming out, I'm wondering if that is just a magnet. So this one didn't have any heat on it. Okay, not magnets, so it is glue, so you do have to have a heat source. But once they've been on that heat source, they are literally just popping out. You just have to have something thin enough to get into the sides. And they just literally come right out. So I'm loving that. And then I don't know if the heat hit this row. Oh shit. Okay, that eyeshadow might not make it, and I don't think the heat hit that row. So we're going to go back to the heat and work on those next ones, and we'll see what the damage is for the green shade. I am slightly concerned about this green shade. I'm just gonna set it over here for right now, and we will figure it out when we come back to it. I'm not being like as gentle with these as I typically would be because I'm not super heartbroken over any of it, just because I'm no longer supporting like the brand or the owner or anything. So for me, it could go either way. I'm just trying to figure out the easiest way to like get them out, if that makes sense. So Alien definitely was more difficult to depot than the rest of them, but we got it, I guess, kind of. I'm just going to put the stickers on the other ones and just hope that it all works out okay. This one is like it's not holding up super well. So the issue is at the very end, my Z-Potter is like giving me a warning that it's too much heat and it needs to take a break. So I went ahead and just yanked the other couple of mattes out, but mattes are notoriously very fine, and so they like to crack, and that is what seems to be happening here with the last couple of shades with most of the mattes, because this one just did it too. Poor little alien head. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna get the rest of these in here and we'll kind of see like what we're working with. So Alien definitely had like the roughest time there. It was the hardest to depot, but I have the eyeshadow palettes depotted now. Like I said, the issue that happened is the Z-Potter was starting to get a little too hot, so it was giving me an error message, so I kind of just yanked these last couple ones out. And the issue with mattes is they're typically very fine. All the ones that I had issues with were with mattes. I was not as patient as I could have been. So if you want to depot your Jeffree Star palettes, I strongly recommend having just a ton, an absolute ton of patience, because that's going to get you much further than it got me. I just, you know, like I said, I want these out. I want this packaging gone. I just want to have the shadows, use the shadows, and move on with my life. So, highlight palettes. And now, honestly, I'm wondering if I'm able to fit them all into the big one. Do you guys ever watch me and just be like, bitch, crazy? Because that's how I feel sometimes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So I'd be able to fit one of the palettes in here. And then possibly I would not be able to fit the other one in here. Oh my god, I don't want to use like a full size thing though. I don't want to use like a whole palette just for whatever. Whatever. I'm gonna wait to depot these two. Here's our Jeffree palette. I'm not a big fan of depotting the Jeffree palettes. They're kind of a big pain in my ass. So we did the eyeshadow palettes today. Super great. One of them got destroyed. Look, this is like falling out too. Oh my god, I have not had this much issues. I hate depotting. I hate depotting so much. I cannot wait until I'm done with this. Like, I love, like, depotting is just, it's such a pain. So, this, yeah, it's what we did. That's the final product. That's what we're gonna do today. I would consider, personally, I would consider this a depotting fail. I think it was a disaster, but let me know down below what you guys think. Let me know if you've tried to depot Jeffree Star palettes. Let me know how you feel about depotting Jeffree Star palettes. Let me know if you are just as annoyed as I am right now. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it was informative for what it was. Unfortunately, like I said, my original plan was to do the face palette at the same time. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with those because I don't even know at this point. I have no idea. I have no freaking idea. So before I get too negative with all of this, that is the end of today's video. Please make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see me go crazy again in the future over depotting products. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will catch you next time. Have a good one. Bye.